Let's take a closer look at the equipment you'll use on Election Day to serve voters. Let's start with our largest piece of election equipment, our safe cart. The safe cart was developed by Montgomery County to hold our digital booths as well as the majority of our election equipment. Election morning, to open your safe cart, begin by unlocking the brass lock with the brass key on your election keys. When unlocking the lock, squeeze the top and bottom halves of the lock together in order to turn the key. Remove the lock and set it aside. Underneath the lock is a red seal. Election morning, break the seal, but hold on to it until we've recorded the seal number on the seal number recording chart. We can now open the doors to the safe cart. After opening the doors to the safe cart, take the seal and compare it to the number recorded on the seal number recording chart. The last number recorded on the chart should match the seal that you broke when you opened the doors. If the number matches, initials so the Board of Elections know that you've checked the seal. If the number doesn't match, which is a rare occasion, call the Board of Elections immediately. Inside the safe cart is where a majority of your election equipment is stored. Across the top are your sign-in stations. In the middle is your file box, provisional box, I voted today stickers, and other miscellaneous supplies you may need. On the doors of the safe cart are your sign stands that has all the important information that needs to be displayed at your polling location. The legs for the sign stands are located next to them in the pockets on the side of the cart. To set up the sign stands, remove the bags on the side of the safe cart, open the bags, and set up the legs. Election morning, the privacy shields you'll use for the digital booths are located behind the sign stand in the blue bag. Ballot stock for the digital booths is stored on the left side of the safe cart. Election morning, remove one pack of ballot stock, open it, and divide that stock amongst the sign-in stations at your voting location. Only open one packet of ballot stock at a time. This makes it easier to record the amount of ballot stock left election evening. Your additional supplies are located in the center section of the safe cart. This includes the provisional box, file box, I voted today stickers, and miscellaneous box. Remove these supplies election morning. Additional information you may need on election day is displayed on the right-hand door of the safe cart. This includes the seal number recording chart and a diagram of how to return the safe cart election night. Any other special notices or important information will also be displayed on this door. Additional supplies for your polling location are stored in the wood supply box. Additional supplies in your supply box include 100-foot from the poll signs, a power supply bag, orange cones, and additional material you may need to make your polling location ADA accessible, manual booths, additional white tabletop privacy shields, and voter parking and voter directional signs. When setting up the sign-in stations, begin by removing them from the safe cart. To set up your sign-in stations, begin by removing the lid. Latches on both sides of the box need to be opened for the lid to be removed. Once the lid is removed, connect the iPad to the power source. Angle the iPad into position to process voters. The power cord for the sign-in station is located underneath the foam. Remove this cord and plug it in. This single cord powers all components of the sign-in station. Election morning, Your polling location supervisor will update your sign-in stations with the most current voter list. This process will occur on all your sign-in stations in order to update them. To set up the manual booth, begin by opening the lid and removing the legs from the side of the booth. Close the lid and relatch the top. Flip the booth over, grab the legs, put the two halves together, and insert them in the holes on the bottom of the booth. Once the leg's inserted, giving the legs a twist helps secure the legs into the booth. After all four legs are inserted, flip the booth over, open the lid, and open the two side flaps. Once placed into position, your manual booth is now ready to use. The safe card houses 4 digital booths, 1 on each end and 2 on the far side. To open the digital booths, begin by unlocking the doors. Extend the digital booth outside of its storage area. Unlock the door on the side of the digital booth. This door will have a seal on it. If the seal appears damaged in any way, contact the Board of Elections immediately. You do not need to record that seal number. Once the door is open, press the on button. The digital booth will begin its startup procedure automatically. The digital booth will take a few minutes to fully power up. While it's going through its procedure, double check that the button on the side is in voter mode. You can now close and lock the door on the side of the booth. The digital voting booths on the ends of the safecart can be deployed in 2 different ways, either lowered for seated voters or raised into their storage area for voters who are standing. After the digital booth has turned on, verify that every status has a green check mark. If any of the statuses have a red X, contact the Board of Elections immediately. You're now ready to select the OK button. Your digital booth is now ready for voting. Our last step is to install the privacy shields on the side doors. Voters are now ready to use the digital booth. It's very important that your polling location is able to start processing voters at 6:30. If one piece of equipment isn't working, continue to set up your location. You only need one of each piece of equipment set up to begin processing voters. Turn no voters away after 6:30 a.m. The submit scanners are stored behind the metal ramps on the side of the box. Lower the ramps to remove the scanners. To open up the submit scanners election morning, start by unlocking the door at the bottom of the scanner and remove the ballot box. The manual ballots for your location are stored inside the locked blue ballot box. After unlocking the box, remove the ballots and set them up at the ballot table. Once the ballots have been removed from the ballot box, return the ballot box to the inside of the scanner. It is important to open up the lid of the ballot box inside the scanner so that ballots can freely drop into the ballot box. Close and lock the door at the bottom of the submit scanner. To start the submit scanner, open the cart lid, then open up the screen to the scanner. The scanner will flip on automatically and begin its opening procedures. The submit scanner will begin to automatically print its configuration report. Allow that report to print and then leave it attached to the scanner. It's important to remember that the startup process of the submit scanner can take a couple minutes. Once a submit scanner has finished running the configuration report, select the Open Polls button to begin printing the zero report. Once a zero report has finished printing, have one Republican and one Democrat precinct election official review the report, sign it, and then place the report in the zero report envelope. To finish opening the submit scanner, select the Go to Voting Mode button. The submit scanner is now ready to start scanning ballots. One of the most important pieces of equipment at your polling location is the file box. The file box provides all the procedures, forms, and reference material you'll need on election day. Election morning, you pull out the 5:45 a.m. election morning folder. Inside the folder are envelopes, instructions, and anything else you need to complete your tasks at 5:45 a.m. The file folders are labeled and organized chronologically for reference throughout the day. The middle section of the file box has any additional forms or materials you may need on election day. Examples of these include voter registration forms and voter change of name forms. The third section of the file box has additional reference materials from the Ohio Secretary of State and the Board of Elections that you can use on election day. Depending on your voting room, voters should enter one door and exit a separate door, making their way in a U shape around the voting room. Voters will stop at the sign-in station, the manual or digital booth, and the submit station before exiting the polling location. This layout mirrors the Board of Elections' safe voting system of signing in, selecting, and submitting their ballot.